Hey guys! Welcome to the Whispers of Turkish Stars channel. All the details are in our video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share our video before continuing. Thank you so much. As the New Year glow began to paint the city with hope and a little nostalgia, one unexpected social media post pulled the spotlight straight onto Erkan and Hazal Sabesai. A set of cozy, almost cinematic photos, just the two of them trimming a Christmas tree, spread like wildfire. It wasn't the usual glossy promo shot or a carefully staged brand moment. It felt like a sneak peek into a private evening, the kind you don't plan to share but end up sharing because it's too full of laughter not to. Their fans, who have followed every beat of their story with a mix of affection and longing, noticed it immediately. The images had an intimacy that couldn't be ignored. And within minutes, the whispers grew into a chorus. The photos themselves were simple, almost disarming in their warmth. Hazal Sabesai wore red and white that channeled the festive spirit, her hair loosely tied, a glint of mischief in her eyes. Erkan, casual yet effortlessly charismatic, leaned in to fix an ornament she'd hung slightly askew. They laughed in mid-motion, glances exchanged that seemed to say more than the caption. There were no flashy filters, no heavy edits. The lights on the tree glowed softly, their reflections dancing on the window behind them like a secret audience. And as they reached for the same silver bauble, their hands brushed, the moment caught in one still frame that felt much more alive than 1,000 words. It didn't take long for the speculation to explode. Some called it nothing but a holiday moment between two longtime friends, a comfortable reunion that nostalgia had scripted. Others insisted there was something unmistakable in the way they looked at each other, in the relaxed energy between them, something more than friendship and certainly more than a casual get-together. The fact that Erkan and Hazal have a history that the public remembers with rose-colored glasses only heightened the fascination. Even people who swore they'd stopped shipping years ago found themselves drawn back in, murmuring, maybe, just maybe. Social media split into camps, as it always does. The comments poured in like confetti. We can feel their chemistry off-screen. They look at ease, like they've reclaimed a language only they understand. Put them in a series, and watch the ratings fly. Is the New Year heralding a second chance? Posts like these didn't just trend, they became small emotional events. And when fans started sharing the photos with their own captions, the narrative stretched like taffy. Some turned it into a love story, others into a teaser for a collaboration, some into a manifesto about how exes can mature and reconnect without drama. But beneath all threads, the same heartbeat thumped. What are we really seeing? The timing made everything feel deliberate. New Year's Eve is heavy with symbolism, an invitation to begin again. And both of them, Hazal, who's often spoken about valuing authenticity, and Erkan, known for protecting the parts of his life he doesn't want dissected, rarely throw open the door to their private moments. That's why this struck a different chord. It wasn't loud, but it resonated. A quiet scene can make the loudest noise. Whispers from inside the industry began surfacing almost in sync with the fan theories. A few insiders claimed that Erkan and Hazal had been meeting with mutual friends over the past few weeks, easing back into the same circle without announcing it. According to the murmurs, the tree-trimming photos were simply what happens when comfortable company meets holiday warmth, conversation, old jokes you don't have to explain, shared playlists, twinkling lights, and that special ease you can't fake. Whether that ease meant a rekindled romance or simply a healed friendship was left to the imagination, but the atmosphere radiating from those images promised that the story wasn't going to fade overnight. And then came the detective work. Fans pulled out their magnifying glasses, as fans always do. They compared the sofa in the photos to the one that had appeared in a previous post months ago. They matched the edge of a painting to a frame that turned up in an unrelated story. They zoomed in on a decorative sculpture shaped like a crescent and said, "That's the same one we saw before." Were these photos taken in the same home? The analysis was relentless and oddly poetic, a collective collage built by strangers who somehow care enough to reconstruct the shape of a room from fragments of pixels. When a small detail lines up, people start to believe in bigger stories. But perhaps the line that struck the match was Hazal's caption, "The spirit of the new year has enveloped our home." That single phrase, "our home," echoed across comment sections and spilled into gossip headlines. It felt both accidental and intentional, like something you type because it's what you feel, then realize it carries a weight you didn't account for. And somewhere beneath the caption, a comment from Erkan appeared, a brief note, understated, topped with a single heart. What should have been a tiny moment between two people became the focal point of 1,000 screenshots. Was it a simple kindness? A signal sent in plain sight? The heart spoke, and the internet answered. Their peers in the industry didn't stay quiet either. Many of their colleagues double-tapped and left sugar-dusted messages. You look wonderful together. May the coming year bring you every happiness. This glow suits you. If this was merely a festive night between friends, then why did those who know them best respond with a wink? The tone of those comments suggested that backstage whispers had been circulating long before the public saw the tree. Of course, Erkan and Hazal have always been lightning in a bottle for the gossip world. Their names together conjure up a tapestry of past work, shared history, and what-ifs that refuse to die. Every time the talk surfaces, they've tended to keep their counsel, letting the storm pass on its own. Is this time different? The date, the softness of the photographs, the message that seemed to speak from inside a private space, all of it made the post feel like a deliberate chapter opening. Whether it signaled a real-life change or an artful hint at what's to come, nobody could look away. Then came a new theory. Maybe this wasn't a confession of the heart at all. Maybe it was a breadcrumb for a project. The industry thrives on teases, after all. If producers were watching, and of course they were, they saw the numbers and the hunger in the comments. A potential reunion on screen would be the dream headline of 2026, the kind of pairing that sells itself before a single scene is filmed. Some claimed meetings had already occurred. Others shrugged and said it's simply two people who share a past, giving a nod to it, nothing more. The truth, tucked between those interpretations, remained maddeningly out of reach. Silence can be the most eloquent answer. Neither of them moved to clarify. No interviews, no stories, no follow-ups that closed the book. It's a choice that only made people lean in closer. Because when something feels genuine, absence of explanation just amplifies it. The images of them dangling ornaments, pausing to grin, leaning shoulder to shoulder, these moments were enough to fuel a week, then two, then more. Insiders whispered that both had agreed to keep a low profile for a while, to avoid repeating old patterns of public scrutiny. But then there they were, captured in a warm halo of light next to a tree that certainly didn't decorate itself. Maybe it was their way of saying, we're living as we want, and we don't owe an essay about it. Or maybe it was simply a spontaneous moment they didn't overthink. Either way, the decision to post ensured one thing: curiosity would not be fading anytime soon. There was more fuel for the rumor mill. Those who believe everything is a trailer saw the photos as proof that a joint series or film was on the horizon. The comments bristled with excitement. First look at chemistry returning. This is your sign to cast them, it's time. Producers, no doubt, took notes. Even the idea of a project featuring both of them again gathered a tidal wave of support overnight, an organic campaign that any marketer would envy. If a phone started ringing because of those photos, nobody would be surprised. Meanwhile, followers refreshed their feeds compulsively, hoping for one more image, one small clip, anything that would tilt the narrative in one direction. If even a single story showed them in the same place on New Year's Eve or the first morning of the year, the romance talk would roar back twice as loud. In a space where perception often becomes reality, a shared background or a matching mug on a table can turn into headline material. Gossip columnists, ever pragmatic, reminded readers that simply appearing together can detonate the internet. Two magnetic figures in a single frame, do you even need more than that? Whether the post celebrated love, friendship, or just the magic of a season, its effect was undeniable. One understated gesture at the start of a new year can ripple through the entire entertainment landscape. A sentence, a glance, a new upload. Sometimes that's all it takes to reset the story everyone thinks they know. Behind the scenes, another narrative surfaced, that both Erkan and Hazal had kept their final weeks of the year deliberately quiet. Few public appearances. No joint events. If closeness existed, it was curated, protected. It led to talk of a gradual rapprochement, a kind of reconnection that doesn't rush to declare itself. Slow and careful, as if learning a favorite song again from the first note. One detail in the photos kept drawing eyes: the gift boxes arranged beneath the tree. No tags could be seen, no hints of names. But the number of boxes and the tidy, almost reverent arrangement suggested an evening meant to be remembered. It looked like a night for safekeeping, one that would live longer than any caption could. And so a question kept resurfacing, like a refrain whispered over and over across feeds and DMs and private group chats: could it all be a coincidence? Some fans didn't want coincidence. They wanted intention. They wanted a beginning. Others wanted reassurance that even if the post teased nothing more than a shared memory, it was still theirs to celebrate. That's the power of these two: they are a screen on which hope projects itself. The dance between what they show and what remains unspoken is part of their spell. It is possible, of course, that everything is as gentle as it looks. A festive evening among friends, nostalgia leaning against the fireplace, a spur-of-the-moment decision to share a joyful snapshot with the world. It is also possible that the photos are a prelude to a larger announcement, one that will arrive when the moment is right. And it is also possible that after years of moving through the industry under bright lights, they chose the softest light of all, a home's glow, to say nothing, and in saying nothing, say everything. So we wait. We scroll, we speculate, we replay small details. We remember their past work and try to stitch it into the present. We imagine what the next scene could look like if cameras ever roll again, and we wonder what it looks like when the cameras are off. Maybe there will be a follow-up post, a statement, a candid sighting. Maybe what we've been given is all we'll get for now. But as long as those photos live in our minds, the laughter, the ornaments, the heart that started 1,000 theories, they'll keep the conversation alive. For now, the city continues its countdown to what 2026 will bring in film, television, and the stories that spill beyond the screen. Whether Erkan and Hazal stand at the center of that whirlwind as partners on a set, partners in life, or something more complicated and human, this much is clear: a handful of warm, unguarded images have already carved themselves into the year's first chapter of gossip. And in a world where every detail is a clue and every clue is a story, one quiet night in front of a tree might be the loudest thing we hear for a while. This brings us to the end of our video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to Whispers of Turkish Stars and share this video with friends who are following every twist and turn. Until the next update, take care, and keep your eyes on the lights, because sometimes the softest glow reveals the biggest secrets. Goodbye.